Welcome to another episode of Fire Feast and Friends, the show where we cook outdoors all year round, whatever the weather. We are actually on location, so we really are outdoors in the middle of a wood.
And what are we cooking today, Ross?
So today we're going to be doing a lentil dish, so incredible vegetarian dish. This works really, really well, and I love cooking veggie. So we're going to be cooking some spiced Lebanese with lentils, with flatbreads.
How spicy are we going, baby?
We're not going mega spicy, we're not going hot. But there's going to be a bit of spice running through this dish and it's going to be quite fun. So for the ingredients today, we've got some red split lentils, we've got a lovely vegetable stock sat over there. We're going to be putting fennel, we're going to be putting some burnt onions into this, a little bit of chilli, not too much.
So talk to me about those onions. What have you done to those onions?
So these are wicked. So these are really, really cool. There's some actually sat down here cooking now. But what we've done is we've burnt these onions.
Dirty onions.
They are dirty onions, Damien, yes. But the reason I wanted to do this is before they went in,
Did you just shove them in the fire?
you just drop them straight in the fire,
how
but
long?
they go nice and soft and that beautiful
wow.
roasted
That's
flavour.
amazing.
Just hold that
Can you
there.
eat
But what
now?
it does,
Eat them
you can. Do you want to try some?
Yeah.
Get in there, get about it.
'Cause that looks gorgeous,
But
mate.
what we get here is we get this lovely smokiness coming off the fire and it works really, really well. So we're going to give the onions a bit of a sort of like kickstart before we start using them. So I've got a couple there ready to go. And then I'm going to finish off it to give a little bit of substance, a little bit of like heartiness, some lovely cavalo nero, which is a beautiful.
Oh, I'm sorry,
beautiful
what?
Cavalo nero. It's black cabbage.
It's middle class food, Damien.
Come on, Damien.
What is it?
He's
Is it
gone. The cackle has started already.
Is it a cabbage?
It is a cabbage, yeah.
No,
There you go, big man.
Cavalo Nero. Introducing Cavalo Nero.
Brilliant. So we are going to be finishing off with a bit of cavalo nero. Now, our main spice and our flavour on this dish is this lovely little spice that I've produced, and it's all based around Lebanese type flavours. It's got paprika, coriander, cinnamon, cardamom, nutmeg, clove in it. And as you can see here, what I do is I take old jam jars, make my own spice blends up, because then you can put into it what flavours you like and up other things. I like a little bit more cardamom in mine, so I put more cardamom in it, roast all my spices off, and then I write them on the edge of the jar using a Sharpie.
That is actually a really good idea.
It's a great idea.
Because I've got all these spice mixes in
And
the
you don't know
cupboard.
what they are.
I have to smell them and...
There you go, no, but right on the side.
Yeah,
and then
very
these
clever.
square jars are great. I actually pick the jars, not the food now. So I
Yeah,
know what I can
yeah,
use them for
yeah.
afterwards, because it's difficult writing on a round one. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be flavouring this dish, which is quite fun. So I'd better get started.
Yeah, take it away.
Excellent.
Can't wait for this.
Oh, amazing. So we've already got a pan over our fire. Now we're cooking today on a chapa, an Argentine style barbecue with a little parrilla over the top, which is the grated part. Parrillas classically are like these V-shaped bars that allow fats to drop in. And this rig and setup come from Country Fire Kitchen. A guy called Tom Bray makes these, and he's an incredible chef. Works really, really well, but he actually makes these for people and does live fire Argentine style cookery class. He's very, very knowledgeable. But I bought this and a load of other kit off him a few years ago, and I love cooking with it when I'm out in the Ulu.
It looks nice and simple.
It's cool.
Just a bottom,
Yeah.
wood on it, grill, brilliant.
But you can
So
make
you could do
something.
this dish over any fire source,
Yeah.
basically. Just a pan, a grill, and some fire.
You could cook this over a simple fire pit with just an old grill put over the top, as I say. I mean, these are really nice because they're really robust and work, and I travel a lot around the planet, a lot of places for these. But it's the rawest form of cooking over fire, really, so it's quite nice.
Right, let's do it then.
Love
Cook
it,
some
love
food. So I've got some chopped up fennel. I'll drop that in first. A few chilies.
I'm sold on fennel now, and I was a
I
bit
know.
sceptical before.
I was a bit worried,
But
you know,
you've
but it's
changed my
coming
mind.
back.
Because the thing is, it's a subtle sort of aniseed flavour,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It goes
Definitely.
really well with things like fish. You know,
Yeah.
it's delicious.
Yeah,
delicious.
nice.
A little bit of garlic in there as well, guys. And then these incredible burnt onions, and I'm just going to pop them out.
So Damien got to taste some of that. Can I taste some of it? Or
I don't know, I might need it all. Yeah, of course you can. Give us 2 minutes. Give us 2 minutes, I'll get you some out, no worries. So, we've got these amazing veg cut in. Just softening those up a little bit inside our little cast iron pan. These little Dutch ovens are fantastic. If you can take them away with you, stick them in the back. I've got a little backpack, carry the Dutch oven. The barbecues are a little bit heavy.
Isn't it a Dutch oven when you do a fart under the covers and put your head
God,
over
it's
it?
actually taking
That's
it
what
off,
it. Oh, no,
Princess.
that's what it is, isn't it?
These are a Dutch oven.
That's,
I think that little
explain
trick you're talking about gets its name from the cooking utensil.
Possibly,
not
yes.
the other way around.
every time.
Every time.
Every time. Now what we want to do is start getting a bit of this flavour from this spice coming out. And this isn't about measuring ingredients. This is about cooking to flavour and cooking to your own palate. You can always add, you can never take away.
What temperature do you cook a lentil to? Have you got your lentil pro?
He cooks everything to temperature now.
Does he?
Everything.
Well,
It's a good thing.
It's a good habit to get into.
It's a good thing. So you've got a little bit of that spice in there. It's really nice. And straight away you're going to smell that. You got that coming up, Damien?
Mm-hmm.
Smelling good?
Smells good, baby.
Yeah.
Smells good?
Yep, yep.
Right. Now what we
that's
need
really
to
lovely.
add...
That's your spicy mix, isn't it, with the fennel and everything? Lovely.
So how long do you cook your lentils for then?
About 35 minutes.
And what, are they going in the
35, 40
stock?
minutes. No.
They're going straight in there?
They go straight in that pan. So I've got a nice pack of lentils.
This is interesting, okay.
There's quite
I
a
do
few
love
of
the
us.
colour of lentils, innit?
They're great.
They're super
Absolutely
dope.
fantastic.
Can I stir it?
Go on, give it a stir. Give it a stir. Fantastic. Now, one really, really important thing when cooking with pulses and lentils and things like that is you should never ever season with salt until right at the end. If you put salt in too early, what's going to happen is it's going to make those lentils break down to nothing. And we want a little bit of bite. We want to know that there's lentils in there.
Oh, I was always told that it makes them go hard. It's the opposite.
Opposite, it makes them fall apart and break apart. So we want to season that right
I don't trust my
at the
mother
end.
anymore.
Yeah, don't. I'm sorry about that to your mum. God, I hope Pierre's mum meets me next time.
Oh my
I'm gonna
God,
get a clout.
serious problems.
So we've gone in there, and they're going to soak up all that flavour. And then we've just got a really dead simple vegetable stock. I'm not using colanders, I'm not using ladles, I'm just getting it in there. And I'm going to cover about 2 inches over the top of the ladles. Save a bit of that stock in there, just to loosen it down last minute. And what we now need to do is bring that up to the boil. And this, Damien, is why I'm using a Dutch oven.
Okay.
Because it's getting really hot, that fire, isn't it? So we're going to go on with the lid, going to centre that, and then what we're going to do is going to grab a couple of our burning logs. Balance them up. So now we've got more of a convectional heat. So we've got that heat on the top and below. So it's really nice. That's sat there now.
Because that looks cool, but does that make a difference?
Yeah, because we've got heat from the top and from underneath.
Of course we have, darling.
So we're
I love it.
we're
I love
cooking
it.
them quicker.
Yeah, I love it. That's cool.
Yeah, but this is what we want. This lovely embers.
That's why you need like a
down.
lovely iron pan to stick all that stuff
exactly.
on top. Yeah.
So how long will that take now to come to the boil?
It's going to boil pretty quickly, but I'm going to trust the pan. I'm going to use the wood. I'm going to allow that now to cook for about 35, 40 minutes. And I'll go back to about every 10, 20 minutes and give it a little bit of a stir. But
Lovely.
we got time to just chill out now.
Great.
Cool.
It's nice being actually out, properly outdoors, not in the back
wicked being out.
garden.
Yeah, it's really nice, isn't it? It's lovely.
Not that we don't love your setup. Yeah.
Well, no, it's lovely. It's lovely.
With his
Yeah,
expensive
now we're all
barbecues.
here, it's beautiful, isn't it? Just hanging out
Yeah, it's quite
outside.
cool. Yeah, it's quite cool. Let's have a look and see if this has come up to the boil yet and see how we're getting on. Because we will leave it alone, but we just want to have a quick look. Which is quite nice.
I don't know how he does that.
It's not coming up
Chef's
to the boil. But
finger.
you can see it's getting there, isn't it? It's coming up to the boil.
Look, it's a lovely colour, love it, love it.
What we can do is lift that back up. Okay, so he's been cooking for about 15, 20 minutes. And let's have a quick look. Look at that, they've already started to ooze up all that moisture. What I want to do now is I want to slow this down, so I'm going to get the rest of our stock in. This is why I saved it right to the last minute. Give it a little stir. And this is where you can adjust your consistency. I'm still not going to season this yet. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for this sort of like almost soupy broth. And we're going to lift this off the fire. And the beauty with this is I'm just going to nestle it down next to it, put the lid on, and the residual heat, I can get rid of that now, the residual heat that's retained within the chapper will keep this ticking over nice and slowly now, but not be quite as fierce. Then what we're going to do is we can't just have lentils on their own with all those lovely veggies. I've got myself an old pan, old tray, and put that over the top, and we're going to use this like a plancha. Like a baking tray, and we're going to cook some flatbreads.
Is a plancha a posh name for a baking tray?
It's not. It's a cooking surface, a flat, solid cooking surface.
I love how I know absolutely nothing about
a
it.
bit like
How did you know what that was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to heat this up nicely. And don't worry, I have something for you two to do now. As in a couple of other episodes, which you can see in the link down below, we've got the recipe for our flatbreads, which we've done in previous episodes. Exactly the same recipe. We're not going to change anything. We're not going to take you through the ingredients. But what we have done...
That's the picanha episode you want to watch for the
It is the
flatbreads.
picanha
Link in the description below.
Yeah.
We've already made up our dough. And I'm going to get these two jokers to shape it for me. Which is amazing.
And just grab some of this.
Pull a little ball out.
Pull some out.
Yeah, like we did last time. I haven't cut it up for you. Just take as much as you want out.
It doesn't matter if I stretch it like
No.
that. Is that about right?
But just remember, the important thing with flatbreads, like we said before, don't overwork it. Oh,
I loved it. So I remember you sort of used the gravity to help you make these. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Teasing out from the edge, working out, looking for the shape of like a big elephant's ear.
Yeah, lovely.
So something a bit like that, yeah?
Nice.
Right. Let me just slap that down. And these aren't going to cook very quickly, I'm not going to lie, but we're going to leave them to cook and do their thing, and we're going to leave those to cook above the fire. The beauty of cooking outside like this is we're not in a rush. It's a bit rustic.
Bit rusty.
It's okay, it'll work.
You didn't put any oil or nothing on there, no?
No.
Slap them down.
The dough's quite oily though, isn't it?
Yeah, there's oil already on the dough. That's what I've used on it anyway. Put that there. I'm going to stoke the fire up a little bit more. Get a nice bit of heat running underneath it. That's working quite well. And then I want to do one more thing to our lentils. And I want to finish them with something, a little bit of substance, give them a little bit of body type thing, make it a bit more interesting. And that's use some of this lovely cavalo nero. It's already been washed before we came out. And I'm going to really, really roughly just chop this up on my world's most stable chopping board. There we go. So we're going to get that in there.
Lovely.
And then yet again,
Cavalo.
in with the
Dr.
cavalo.
Cav.
And this is going to cook out with those lentils. And I mean, just look at it.
And you're just going to sort of wilt that down
great.
in there.
Yeah.
Beautiful colour.
Allow it to do its own
Look at
thing.
that, yeah.
It's looking pretty good, isn't it? Nice, mate. And then I've got a little secret ingredient in a minute just to finish off with. So I made this before we turned up today, because it takes a little bit of time overnight and it does make a difference. I've made some Zhoug.
Some what?
Some Zhoug.
Zhoug.
Okay, no, I haven't heard of this.
I found something Pierre hasn't heard of.
Versus Cavalo Nero.
So, Zhoug is incredible and used a lot. Again, it's Middle Eastern, originally from
Can
Yemen.
you show that to the camera?
It's originally from the Yemen. And what it is it's a mixture of coriander, parsley, chilies, roasted garlic. It's got rapeseed oil to use to bring it down,
Looks a
and
bit
preserved
pesto-y,
lemons.
is
It is a bit pesto. It's like a Middle Eastern pesto.
Ah.
But the flavour, I mean, have a smell. Have a taste.
Ah, that's good. That's
Got a hand?
lovely.
Give us a
Yeah,
hand.
man, yeah.
Give us your hand.
Thank you.
Try a little bit of that. Jump about that. And it adds these sour, bitter notes.
Oh, yeah, that's way more fun than pesto.
Whoa.
See?
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's what
big.
you want, isn't
That's
it?
big. I like that.
Big, punchy flavours, yeah?
Wow.
Wow. That
You
was
like
not
that?
what I expected.
There you go. The fire's dying down.
Oh, do you want another log or are we all right?
We're all right. We'll be all right. We'll leave it to cook. What we can do, we don't be afraid of the fire. And just put it directly on the
Yeah,
fire.
do it. That's the one.
Let's get it cooking. There we go. Get a bit of heat in there.
That's the one, isn't it, baby?
You get excited at things like this.
I
don't
know, it's great. Well, it's
Fire.
you? It's
Yeah,
fire. Of course he gets excited. Really got into your cooking over fire in the last 18 months, haven't you?
Yeah.
What's your go-to cook over fire dish?
First time I cooked properly over fire though, when I just got a cote de boeuf and just skewered it. It was more to test out the affair than to
Yeah.
And the first time I had that piece of meat over the fire, and it wasn't cooking as fast as I wanted it to, and so I sort of stoked up the fire a bit and changed the angle of the meat, and you could just see the fat starting to render off.
It's a bit
And
sexy.
it was the most exciting thing that I've ever seen. It was like, I felt like
Forget the childbirth and
Yeah.
these children
Yeah.
coming into the world. It was that piece of meat.
Yeah, like a caveman with tech.
It is. We've transferred our flatbreads off of the pan, or off of the tray, straight over to the parrilla, just to finish them off. They're all just cooked up now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack these up. We want them to be rustic.
They
We
look
want
lovely.
that little
They look
bit
really
of
lovely.
gnarliness. That's ready to go. Use that as a little warming plate. Bring over our plate. Let's lift off the lid. Now, if you remember earlier on in this episode, I said about seasoning last minute. And you've got to remember that because we're using this Zhoug as well, this is going to add a seasoning as well. So this has got lots of big punchy flavours. So we need to take this into consideration, but this still needs a good punch of salt. So I'm going to start off with a good pinch of salt, but not too much. Stir this in. And I mean, those lentils now at that point when they are literally, it's almost like mashed potato.
That's a hearty meal, my friend.
I'm going to take a big spoonful of that. I'll dress this on the plate. And I'm going to take the Zhoug.
Decorative Zhoug.
And the idea with this is that we're just going to go plunge down through it. I've got some little fennel tops that I've saved that have just flown straight off of the dish. Some flatbreads. It's pretty chunky flatbreads, some of these. So there we have it. Lentils in a Lebanese style with flatbreads, Zhoug, over fire. You know what it is?
Yeah.
He didn't even hesitate. He was in.
Straight in,
He was like, that was my flatbread, I'm having that.
So I'll take a bit of the Zhoug.
Yeah, take a bit and just try it on its own first, then go in with the flatbread. Damo, get in there.
I'm in.
Try it.
Is that Zhougy?
Oh my god.
How Zhoug is
That was a big M.
That's so much better than I expected.
Yeah? Oh, cool, man.
No, I mean, I didn't, I thought it would be good.
Confidence. But it's one of those dishes.
That is delicious.
I think it's one of those dishes that's dead simple, you know what I mean? You can stick it on, leave it, you can have a chat, like we have. It's taken 25, 30 minutes. If you've been out and had a busy day of activities outside, and just to do something like that, that's a meal in its own.
Perfect saltiness in there as well.
It's the spicing. It just adds this depth of flavour to that. But that is absolutely insane.
Absolutely love it.
Pretty good.
Also,
great as
when
well.
you're out in the
Big
cold
fan
like
of
this, I think stuff tastes better anyway, but it's, this is a perfect winter warmer.
Yeah. It's one of those things, and I think cooking it next to fire and having that warmth and stood around the fire, it adds to the experience. You've got to drop the camera.
Well, it's taken some of those smoky notes from the fire as well.
When you get the pickled onions. And
Love
it's
that.
backpack of ingredients.
But that Zhoug as well just adds that little sort of hit of excitement to it.
This is amazing. We should do this again.
Should we?
We should hang out outside again.
Right, guys, if you've enjoyed what you've seen today, remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button. It's really, really important, and see new up and coming videos that are coming through. We've had a great time.
See you next time.
Zhoug is a
So we'll add the
superstar.
recipe on the link to the Zhoug. Well, no, you won't worry about it. We'll put the recipe at, well, we'll say,
We'll do another video and we'll show them how to make Zhoug.
we'll do that.
Share the Zhoug, baby.